It's that time again, girlies. It's time to clock in and read these patch notes. Let's go over it together. Patch 25.11 notes. Take a bite out of patch 25.11 tooth emoji. I don't know what that means. We're back again with another patch, this time with some Brawl balance flavor. Yay! We've got a gameplay update to Garen in this patch that's aimed at making his fighter builds functional and performant, pushing him away from his high burst crit builds. Yay! We've also got the normal array of balance updates addressing a few pieces we overshot last patch and generally bringing up the bottom end of the roster. Morgana! Swift play champion select is going to be swift play. What's that? Some nice QOL when it comes to picking what you want to play and seeing what runes your teammates are using. On the behavioral front, we have some adjustments coming under the hood that should result in habitual leavers getting a bit harsher punishments, as well as the detection system to be a little bit tighter on higher skill players who know better. Ooh. Switching gears to the Brawl side of things, we have a laundry list of balance changes to address what feels like almost every champ in the roster. Some buffs, some adjustments, and some fixes to an interesting strat of killing minions from the base because that happened. That's kind of funny if you read about that thread or saw it on TikTok. A bunch of people won Brawl by not even leaving the base. So Swift play is not real, so I'm not going to read that. But I'm excited to see these champion balance changes, and I am excited to see the behavioral updates because I don't really notice a difference. I still see the same amount of negativity that I saw before, so as far as I'm concerned, nothing's changed. And with regards to Brawl, I think Brawl was supremely fun, and I think it is now a little stale. I wish they would up the balance effort a little bit and not focus on percentage damage changes, but focus on champion changes like cooldowns or attack speed scaling, or maybe even changing like the minion speed or like the gold of the camps or something. I don't know. But anyway, we'll see what they do. Patch highlights. I'm not reading this. Live date adjustment. Due to it being a holiday on Monday the 26th in the US, 25/11 live date has been pushed back today. Okay. Swift play champion select improvement. Previously, when hovering on a teammate's icon in Swift play lobby, players could not view their keystone rune selected. Okay. Does anyone still play Swift play? This did not replace blind pick for me. I don't like this. I never even played blind pick, so who am I kidding? Behavioral systems. We're adjusting lever busters calculations under the hood in order to set a higher bar for what's an acceptable level of AFKing, disconnecting, or leaving match-made games. The tuning will still allow players who have an occasional computer or internet issues to get back into good standing, but habitual rage quitters and consistent disconnectors will receive harsher penalties sooner. Okay. I think if you rage quit 2 games, you should probably get punished. Of course, there could be like a timer in between to ensure that like it's actually habitual, but I don't think that it should take that long to ban someone for AFKing a game, especially if they're AFKing it in certain circumstances, like 8 minutes in after they've died 4 times. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. In-game negative behavior. We're modifying some new rules to our in-game negative behavior detection system, also known as soft inting, in order to catch more players who should know better. Reduce thresholds specifically for higher ranked players to be detected for negative behavior. Okay, well, I have no information on this, but I will definitely say that there are some games that I play in Diamond 1 where I notice people are just running around not trying to win, and hopefully this will detect it. I don't know what they're doing. Pride 2025. It's our 5th year celebrating Pride. Yes, gay people have only existed for 5 years, chat. And the 8th year in a row of sharing the in-game icons. Yay! They're so proud. Home guard trails, emotes, and more. For 2025, we have a new free emote, and we're bringing some of our favorite Pride items from the past. Don't miss out on enjoying this before the event ends on patch 25.13. Yes, we get to be gay for 2 weeks. It's true, it's true. This emote is incredible. I am very, very impressed with this. This is super cute. We love the bi representation, and we love Rel. We have a new Rainbow Warpaint emote that you can claim immediately on the patch going live. No mission or blue essence needed. Simply claim it with a single click during the event. We also have a mission that will reward you with some Battle Pass experience for playing 3 games with friends. Yay. To learn more about the... Wait, that's it? That's all they're doing for Pride? Hold on, let me claim this. Yay! Where's my emo? Oh, it's not live. Wow, that's all they're doing for Pride. Wow, I can't believe that. All we get are the trails and 1 emote. Oh, wow. Riot, you have really soared to new heights with this one. Pride 2025, you sure have shown us that you've been celebrating this for 8 years. Yay! We get 1 emote and trails in the game which haven't been updated in an eternity, and only if you're using the Pride icons. Good job. Yay. Very happy to exist. Kill and takedown sound effects. As mentioned, the Season 2 dev update kill and takedown sound effects are here. These sweet sound effects spice up League's most satisfying moments. These will play for your ears only. On multi-kills, the sound will escalate to serve as your own personal hype squad as you chase that pentakill. Cool. I'm excited for this. Anyway, the systems changes I am not very impressed with. The Pride I am not impressed with. We will see about the behavioral systems, and Swiftblade doesn't affect me. So, okay. Thank you, Riot. Let's get into the champions now. We have Aatrox starting out with our AA. We'd like Aatrox to feel better about some conventional fighter items like Black Cleaver, and now that we have more levers to tune fighter versus lethality builds, we're returning W's damage to physical, which should allow him access to more fighter items like Black Cleaver. He's also the current top dog of top lane, so we're adjusting some of his strengths to make landing Q sweet spots more important for his damage output and healing. So his passive damage, which is this auto attack that stacks up, does less damage, it scales worse. His sweet spot damage on his Q increased, and his W damage is physical. I mean, I do believe this is nice for him. The passive kind of sucks. Aatrox did a lot of damage with his passive, especially if he's hitting his sweet spots, which lowers the cooldown of his passive. I don't like this champion. I think he's balanced, but I just don't like it, so whatever. We'll see. Hopefully it's not OP. Hopefully the passive is a big enough change. Annie, this champion's OP. Annie's adjustments have landed well, making her a functional burst mage who relies on her spells. Her spell hits to deal damage. However, there's still some minor tuning to iron out, largely around her laning phase being a bit too weak and her late game being a bit too strong. These changes are meant to be only lightly power negative overall, while giving her a much better early laning phase. Okay, so her armor is up by 4 at level 1. Her armor growth is down. Okay, so that evens out at level like 6. And I don't know, I'm just, what is it? Actually, it's like, yeah, it's level 6. And then is worse from then on, which is fine, because that's Annie's probably weakest time is pre-6. And then her W damage is barely down. I don't even know if she maxes this. I think she maxes Q, but probably W in some matchups. And the AP ratio is slightly down. This is a decent nerf, I would say. I would say this is like overall a nerf. I don't think the armor at level 1 makes that big of a deal. Of course, it's nice for trading into auto attacks and minions, and certainly AD champions. But against most mages, you're probably like, I don't know, if you like auto attack once in a trade and maybe trade 1 auto and get hit by every single minion, you're maybe saving like 10 health, which can make a difference. Sure, cool. Good for Annie. Ashe. Ashe Q, unlike many other marksman attack passive, see Caitlyn, cannot stack on structures, but its damage can affect structures, which creates peculiar optimizations. Letting her stack this Q on structures should help avoid these unintuitive optimizations and let her feel better about sieging towers in general. Q cannot stack on towers. That's cool. I never really understood why it didn't do this. I play ADC off stream, and every time I play Ashe bot lane, it feels really awkward seizing towers because your Q is your attack speed and your steroid, and you just can't use it on towers. You have to auto minions 4 times, then you Q and hit the tower, and then you have to auto minions 4 times. It's weird. Cool change. Cho'Gath, armor growth decreased. Cho'Gath's recent changes made him a bit too strong, so we're tuning down his power slightly. Armor growth down by 0.5. Cool. Whatever. Diana, yay! After changes to AP itemization, Diana is doing well in mid, but struggling in the jungle. We're giving her some extra clear speed to help her keep up now that she isn't leaning on early faded Ashes. Yay! Alright, I'm so happy with this. We love Pride Month. Okay, Riot, I take back everything I said about Pride. You obviously love your lesbians. This is great. I'm super happy. This will help your first clear, and also therefore help your entire game as Diana, and I love this. I have been playing AP Diana, and it feels pretty good. Elise, haven't seen this champion since her bout in support, and I don't know what's going on with her. Elise has been a beneficiary of the mage item changes, yes, and has been very prominent, especially in elite brackets. Well, I guess I'm not there. This change is targeted at softening her clear speed, especially while snowballing, and lowering her overtime PvP damage. Okay, so her passive Spider form basic attack bonus damage is less AP scaling, down by 5. Sure. I guess she really benefited from like the Storm Surge, Proto Belt, Lich Bane buffs. That makes sense. She's always been good with those items, but I still don't see her. I guess I'm not in that bracket, and I don't mind not seeing Elise. Elise is a hyper aggressive jungle along the lines of like Nidalee and Bel'Veth, and I don't like playing against those champions. It's unfun for me as a jungler. My personal opinion. That's how I feel. For me. I said. For me, in my opinion. Garen. Everyone hates this champion. I hate this champion. Let's see what they do. We're updating Garen to make his fighter pattern much more functional. The headlining features are a reduced cooldown on Judgment. What's that? Says all. It's a Z. In order to allow him to play out sustained combat and an improved courage active in order to better soak up damage. That's his W. As compensation, he's losing out a bit of burst damage through critical strike chance on his E and overall damage on R. Our hope with these changes is to make fighter builds for Garen his best option to raise their power, as fighter Garen is currently underpowered. Yeah, Garen's really annoying. He would go like Stride Breaker and then full assassin, and turned into this weird champ where like I mean, you've all played against it, right? Garen runs at you, he presses W, he has 1000% tenacity, he doesn't take damage, he Qs you, E's you, you're half health, and then you just die to his ult. Yeah, that's not fun. So let's see what they did. His W cooldown is down 1 second early and 3 seconds late. You do max this ability last, I'm pretty sure. The damage reduction scales up, so that's a big nerf. If you are doing this last, then you are having a 5% damage reduction nerf. Remove 10% bonus resistance after quest completion. Oh, that's interesting. You're losing a lot of tankiness. Okay, so straight away, your cooldown is lower, but you're losing 5% damage reduction and then 10% bonus resist. That's big. E cooldown now scales. That's interesting. Cooldown still starts after the end of the spin. So this is not changed, right? And so this is just a great cooldown reduction. So your E is going to be up way more frequently. And the damage is now higher scaling AD. And the crit damage modifier is down. Okay, but not down that much. And then it doesn't do that much damage to monsters anymore. And then partial cooldown refund based on remaining duration. Oh, I see. Okay, so the cooldown now... it seems like it should be the same. I didn't know that there was a partial cooldown refund. So now I think the cooldown ends up being the same. I think on full cast it ends up being better, but on early interrupt cast it ends up being the same, or maybe worse. I would say this is overall a buff. I mean, the AD scaling is pretty nice to get if you do max this ability. It ends up being 4% higher. You do lose out on crit, but if you're building high AD builds, this is still nice, especially if you're going Stride Breaker into Bruiser. And then R, damage is down by 50 and then 100 late. Ooh, I mean, the base damage sucks, but you're still going to be doing a lot of damage. I think Garen is going to be pretty strong still. The way I'm looking at this is Garen's damage is up, but he's going to be way squishier. But now he's just going to build tankier. So I guess that was their goal. We will see how this turns out. I think this is a nice change. I get what they're going for. All right, Cassin. I hate this champion. We are unhappy with the degree of Cassin's current power curve, as he has been feeling a bit too weak in the early game for most players, while gaining a massive amount of power if allowed by the 30-minute mark. Looking to relax his curve some while still ensuring that players feel like level 16 is a high moment. Okay. Riot has a problem with scaling right now, and I think they've shown that they don't know how to address this problem with champions like Gwen. Gwen is another champion like Cassin who would feel really, really strong when you hit level 16, but it's awkward because those champions didn't feel like automatic win conditions when you hit level 16. Like, you scaled and you were really, really strong, but there are some champions that when they scale, you feel like you automatically lose. And like Smolder, Senna, I don't know. There are lots of examples of them. They tend to be ADCs, but this champion isn't really one of those anymore. They've kind of, I don't know. It's just like the idea of scaling has changed. So I don't really, like, when this champion hits level 16, I don't think I lose the game, right? I'm just like, you just have to like lock in a little bit, you know? Let's see what they do. Base armor is up a little bit. Oh, wow, that's nice. This is different than Annie because he's melee. And because he's melee, he gets auto-attacked way more. Okay, Force Pulse. Damage is up by 10 across the board. It's nice. It's not that big of a deal. And then R, damage, bonus damage per stack, which is all of his damage, is... AP scaling is down by 3%. And then... What? Wow. Oh. Is this a nerf? We're unhappy with his power curve. as he's feeling a bit too weak early. And so they gave him 2 armor. And then took a ton of damage off his ultimate. So he lost, I mean, off his max stacked ultimate, which I think he frequently does in fight. He lost 12% AP ratio. Oh, but look. No, never mind. I thought I was relating this 1 to the 6. Okay, so yeah, this just seems like a nerf to his late game. I mean, it's obviously a nerf, in my opinion. 2 armor does make a big difference. It does, I acknowledge, but I think he's going to be missing out on that damage, and all Cassin really has is damage, so I could see some buffs coming at him in the future. Lucian, this champion seems really strong. Lucian's been dominating the bot lane for a while now. While he's meant to shine in the early game, he's a little too good at getting himself early advantages. So his E cooldown is up 2 seconds early. That's okay. I see some Lucians actually max this last. So from my understanding of Lucian, you max your Q and then you max your W actually. I don't see people actually maxing the E because you don't get that much cooldown for it. You get 2 seconds off. So this ability you max last, and having this extra 2 seconds is kind of a big deal because it does mess up your rotation a little bit. Lucians right now are going Essence Reaver, and I think going Navori Flickerbade to get their cooldowns really low, and obviously that synergizes with his passive. And usually when I see a Lucian, they like can E in, do like W E auto, W auto, and their E is like either back up or close to being back up. And maybe this will make a difference because now it'll have 2 seconds on top of it. So I think this is an appropriate nerf. And certainly early game this will hurt. Rengar. Our cooldown decreased. I hate this champion. Rengar is like a dog chasing cars, except he's a cat chasing ADCs. Problem is he can't chase as often as he'd like. Despite a low pick rate, he's historically been one of the best Axiom arc users in the game, indicating his clear desire for hunting more, giving Rengar a jungle skewed alt CD buff to strengthen his ability to snowball from the jungle. Okay, so his cooldown is down 10 seconds already. I will say, champions like Rengar aren't fun for me. They are champions that are extremely one-note, and they are damage stat check champions. They're either going to kill you or you are going to kill them. And so they end up feeling like super useless, or they feel like disgustingly broken, right? And Rengar threads that needle perfectly, which I hate. And he does a ton of damage, and when he needs to be really slippery and squishy, or slippery and tanky, he is. I don't think the R cooldown is going to make him that much more OP, but it definitely helps. And I don't like this champion, even though I'm a little cat boy. Meow. Rise. Rise has lost a lot from recent itemization changes. It could use a boost, giving him some kind of some power centered around his level 6 spike to enable him to get out of there and make some plays. Excuse me. W Rune Prison. Okay, his W damage is down 10, but his R passive overload flux damage is up 20% early. Okay. The W damage down does hurt his early game. I see Rises start W sometimes, especially into melee matchups to guarantee their damage. This will hurt, but I mean, Rise is a champion that's like stuck in pro play jail, right? This champion, I feel like I never see in solo queue. I mean, his pick rate must be so low, and yeah, I don't know if this is going to change that. Sivir. Sivir scales appropriately well, but is struggling a little too hard early on, giving her a little bit more oomph on early game W bounces. Okay, so her bounce damage on her W is up 10 early. Very nice. Sivir is a champion who I love, but I never see. I feel like she's a very well-designed scaling champion. She is the premier AoE supportive team fighter, and that is really cool, but she doesn't really get to shine because her range is so low, and everyone just one-shots anyone nowadays, so this might help, and that's cool. Samira. Samira is statistically fine, but she's very sharply dependent upon getting kills in lane and struggles to teamfight without a large lead. We're bumping up her lifesteal synergy in order to enable builds that aren't all about maximum damage and taking a bit away from her burst combo to compensate. Okay. This is a very feast or famine champion, and so her lifesteal effectiveness on her Q is up. That doesn't change much. Her Blade Whirl now is nerfed, her W, but that's just her wind wall, so that's not that big of a deal, right? Losing 10% bonus AD on an ability that you cast once at most per fight is not that big of a deal, right? It's like maybe like 30 damage off your combo, maybe. Probably less. And then our lifesteal effectiveness up. Okay, oh, huh? We're bumping up her lifesteal synergy in order to enable builds that aren't about maximum damage. Okay, interesting. So this champion's gonna turn into Neela a little bit. I mean, obviously she already has like the lifesteal effectiveness in her kit tuned to a certain value, but they are buffing that up. And when I think of Neela, I think of a champion that like deceivingly gets low, goes in ultimates, and like just heals to full and then kills everyone. And there's a lot of lifesteal effectiveness. I wonder if she's going to start building like Bloodthirster first now. We'll see. Smolder, I hate this champion. Despite being a thematically scaling dragon, Smolder's early game is actually quite potent, peeling back some of his comfort early game by allowing enemy poke to hurt more and stick better. So his armor is down, base health regen's down. Yeah. I think, speaking of scaling, I think Smolder is one of the worst designed scaling champions. I hate the idea of stack scaling in that way. I think there is appropriate stack scaling in the game through champions like Veigar and Nasus, and I don't like this form of stack scaling. I have said before, and I'll say again, that when trading with a champion allows them to scale, that doesn't feel good. Okay? It's different in Veigar's case, but in an ADC's case, it's annoying. In Smolder's case specifically, I should say. Maybe I don't think that truly, because Veigar is fine, but like, I don't like it on Smolder, and I don't like it on Senna. Whatever, sue me. Twisted Fate has been on the weakest side ever since the Roa change, and these changes are targeted to help his early game and his wave clear breakpoints. Okay. He got 10 damage, girl. Whatever. I don't see her doing anything, but this is just a Pride Month buff. Go off, queen. Twitch. AP Twitch has been bad for a while. Why is that an issue? Well, we don't want AP support Twitch. Oh! We think there's safe room for a revert of a prior nerf while we are also adjusting AP items, and then possibly a reassessment sometime down the line. His AP ratio is up 5%. God, AP Twitch is so unfun to play against. Extremely homophobic behavior, Riot. Why would they do this? Udyr, okay, Bear Pride. Currently, AD Udyr with Qmax is having a resurgence, while R-centric Udyr builds have fallen significantly behind. We're looking to bring Phoenix Udyr back up to enable him to compete, and particularly looking to reward Udyr for getting his R-stance attacks off. Okay, so his Storm Stance empowered basic attack damage is up, and the AP ratio is up, and the storm damage per second is slightly up later. So yeah, so you're gonna get a lot more damage if you're autoing in your R, but you're gonna not do as much damage, or you're gonna do a little bit more damage with your R, but mostly, yes, as they said, this is just empowering his auto attacks. Cool. I don't know how I feel about all these champion changes. I hate the Twitch change. I like the Smolder nerf. Samira is weird. Sivir's fine. Ryze is fine. Rengar's mad. Lucian's fine. Cassin's weird. Garen, we'll see, but I think it's good. Elise is whatever. Diana's great. Cho'Gath, whatever. Ashe, whatever. Annie, we'll see. Aatrox seems alright. This isn't that big of a change. I don't think too much is going to be affected, but overall, I'm pretty happy with these changes. I really hope that Twitch doesn't rise to prominence. I don't want to see him in the meta. All right, let's go to items. Horizon Focus. This is an item that I think really missed the mark on the AP item change, in my opinion. Horizon Focus's changes succeeded in wooing some new mage users, but it's overall a little too weak in the average case. We're delivering some direct buffs in order to make sure Horizon is appealing. So gold cost is down and ability power is up. That is nice, but I think Riot might get a little lost in the sauce with this one. This item is veering towards the stat efficiency buying threshold, where like you just buy the item because it's so stat efficient that you just get it, but it's not a cool item. So Horizon Focus had like a fun niche with its damage amp passive, and it lost that passive and now just gives you a ton of ability haste and ability power, and it's pretty cheap. 2,800 for 115 AP is about the best you're going to get, and with the ability haste on top of it, it's really, really good, but it does not provide you any other utility. No mana, no health, no bonus damage, no magic pen. Maybe it'll be good, but we'll see. This item, yeah, kind of missed the mark on the AP item change. And then we have ARAM, which I'm not reading, and then we have Brawl, which I'm not reading, but it looks like they did 20,000 changes to every single champion. It's not my business. I love Brawl. And then there was a micro patch. What? Oh, that's Brawl micro patch. Okay, well, I'm super not reading that. And then quality of life changes. I don't see anything about changing Morgana to actually have a passive. I think they still forgot that Morgana has a passive, or has no passive. Weird that they haven't adjusted that in the bug fixes. And skin updates, it looks like they're updating their Mask of the Black Rose skins because there's a lot of backlash, and that makes sense. Riot, do better with your skins, enough with the AI. And that's that on that. So, this is kind of a small patch. I will say the champion balances are fine. I don't think too much is gonna change. Like, I don't think any of these changes are gonna change the champion to be like disgustingly OP. The only champion that could potentially come out crazy OP from this is Garen, or maybe Twitch. AP Twitch could come back, but like Garen is really the one champion who's going to be like is going to be like completely changed. Horizon focus change, again, we'll see. The skins are nice, and I am overall disappointed with Riot Pride. I really don't know. I don't know. We got like nothing, right? We just get this Pride icon. There's no event. There's no nothing. I mean, they gave us Battle Pass XP, like, sure. I don't know why they don't do like a cute like rainbow themed map for Howling Abyss or like Brawl or something. Like, those modes are already unserious and nobody's gonna care, and you could do it just in North America and Europe if that's your issue, but like, I don't know. I think this is very lackluster if you ask me. I also say that comment about North America and Europe ignorantly. I don't know if they restrict Pride things in, you know, like, other parts of the world. It's just an assumption that could be wrong. Please tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. But yeah, just an emote. It's whatever, I guess. Beggars can't be choosers. We have to be happy with what we get for Pride. Well, anyway, good luck out there, girlies.